Would less Lamar Jackson equal a Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl? What? Yeah, I know that may sound controversial. Lamar Jackson is a two-time MVP and was very close to winning a third MVP. Lamar Jackson is the only quarterback to throw for over 4,000 yards and rush for over 900 and throw for 40 passing touchdowns with only 4 interceptions. A historical season in the NFL. But with all of that attainment, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens still missed the AFC Championship and subsequently a Super Bowl visit. So would less Lamar Jackson get the Baltimore Ravens to the Super Bowl? I believe so. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulanger. Up next, how the Baltimore Ravens can get to the Super Bowl in 2026. Let's talk. I know the intro sounds pretty controversial. Less Lamar Jackson may equal a Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl, but I truly believe that is the formula. You see, I believe in taking examples from teams who have done it, are doing it, and have the potential to do it again. And the Eagles and the Chiefs are teams who have done it, getting to the Super Bowl, are doing it in the Super Bowl, and have the potential to do it again. And why, you may ask? Well, why would that mean less Lamar Jackson? Why do the Baltimore Ravens need less Lamar Jackson and, as a part, more of something else? Well, let me explain. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they have the all-everything Patrick Mahomes. And we may think that Patrick Mahomes is what really powers the Kansas City Chiefs. And what I would say is he's a vital part of their success, but he's not the major part of their success. Despite what all of social media may say, all of sports media may say, and all of Chiefs content creators may say, he is the point man, right? Kind of like a point guard on a basketball team. The point guard is the table setter, but he doesn't shoot all the threes. He doesn't get all the rebounds. He doesn't make all the assists. He doesn't get all of the dunks. See, he doesn't do all of that. He's just the point guard who sets the table. And that's what Patrick Mahomes is for the Kansas City Chiefs, such as Jalen Hurts. Now, am I comparing Jalen Hurts to Patrick Mahomes? By no means. But they play the same position in a very similar way. Now, does that mean their games are the same? Nope. Does that mean their games are similar? Nope. But what I'm simply saying is they're both point guards for their team. You see, Jalen Hurts has a A.J. Brown. He has a Devontae Smith. He has a Dallas Goedert. He has a great offensive line. And he has Saquon Barkley. So all Jalen Hurts has to do is set the table. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to go out and be great every single game, perfect every single game in order for them to win. He has had some complications the last 2 seasons, but they still have had playoff success, and now they're in the Super Bowl again, which is his second Super Bowl visit in a matter of 3 years, I think it is. But it's not because he's been passing for 350 and running for another 100 and scoring 5 touchdowns a game. By no means. He has set the table for everybody else to help him be successful, or to help the Eagles be successful. Let me jump back to Patrick Mahomes in the same fashion. Patrick Mahomes is the point guard for the Chiefs, but he does not have to do it all. Now, there may be 3 or 4 plays throughout a game that Patrick Mahomes may have to put the cape on and rush for a first down, or get the ball out quickly for a first down, or get into field goal position, or whatever it is. But when you watch the Chiefs play over the last 2 seasons, what were people saying about them? People were saying that Patrick Mahomes was having a down season. Well, I'll take a down season. I'll take less stats if it causes me to be a 2-time defending Super Bowl champion and be in a 3rd straight Super Bowl. I'll take that. You see, less Patrick Mahomes having to throw for 350 yards and do all the other stuff that he was doing previously has still put the Chiefs in the exact same position. Why? Because his coach has a scheme and a plan that allows him to set the table just like a point guard. So less Patrick Mahomes has put them in the Super Bowl. Less Jalen Hurts has put them in the Super Bowl. And I know we get excited because Lamar Jackson has improved as a passer every season, and he's the first to do all of these things. And I want him to have everything great. Please hear me. I want him to have everything great. But his greatness will be capped if he never gets a Super Bowl. And what has been happening is more Lamar Jackson has equaled less opportunity at a Super Bowl. Let me explain. Now, I'm going to do some weird kind of math. Let me go ahead and warn you, okay? But let's say the offense is 50% pass and 50% run, right? Because truly, that's the only kind of plays you can have. A play where you're running the ball or a play where you're passing the ball. Now, that doesn't divide up the number of pass plays and or the number of run plays. I'm going to slow down a little bit so I can make it all make sense. So if you think about the 100% of the offense, if we divide it in two, running and passing, okay? Then now let's see how much Lamar Jackson is really involved in the offense. When you look at the pass game, he's 100% of the Baltimore Ravens pass game, okay? And there's nobody else shouldering that burden except for Lamar Jackson. So he has to have receivers catch the ball. He has to have guys make a play after the catch. Offensive line has the block. But when it comes to passing stats, that's 100% going to be on Lamar Jackson, okay? So 50% of the offense is 100% of Lamar Jackson, okay? Let's go to the other 50%. Let's look at the run game. This season, the Baltimore Ravens rushed for over 3,000 yards, okay? Lamar Jackson had more than 900 yards rushing. Granted, some of that will be scrambling, but we saw a lot of called run plays for Lamar Jackson as well. That means of the 100% of all rush yards, Lamar Jackson is responsible or was responsible for 30% of that. So when you put 100% of the passing game is Lamar Jackson's responsibility, and 30% of the run game was Lamar Jackson's responsibility, that's 130%. If you divide that by two sides of the offense, he's responsible for 65% of the offensive success. Think about that. 65% of the offensive success lies with Lamar Jackson. And we also have to understand that part of Derrick Henry's run success lies with Lamar Jackson. Part of Justice Hill's run success lies with Lamar Jackson. Part of the offensive line looking better than what they look also lies where? With Lamar Jackson. So we can absolutely say he's responsible for more than 65% of the offensive success. So when you really look at it, when he has a down game, that's why things go sideways so quickly. See, because he's responsible for so much, he can't have an interception. He can't have a fumble. He can't afford to get sacked. He can't have an inerrant pass. Why? Because he shifts the offensive balance so much that when he has an off play, the offense now goes down the drain. But when you look at his counterparts, it's not that way. Yes, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, we can even go Josh Allen, we can even go, who was the other? Jaden Daniels, who also carries the same kind of burden that Lamar Jackson has, which is what caused them not to make it past the Philadelphia Eagles. But when you look at the teams who were in the Elite Eight, so to speak, Lamar Jackson is the only one who carries that much of a burden. When you look at Detroit, who was in the AFC Championship last year, then they got knocked off this year, Jared Goff doesn't have the same level of responsibility. All he has to do is say hut, and put the ball in the hands of the weapons. When you look at Patrick Mahomes, all he has to do is say hut and then put the ball in the hands of the weapons. No matter what you think about the weapons, that's all he has to do. Because the system he has in place allows him just to be the point guard. When you look at Jalen Hurts, yes, he runs a little more than the average quarterback, but he doesn't have the offensive burden that Lamar Jackson has. He's not responsible for 30% of the run game and then 65% of the total offense, right? He has an A.J. Brown and a Devontae Smith and a Dallas Goedert and a Saquon Barkley. And I think that's the biggest difference. So I believe that less Lamar Jackson promotes the Baltimore Ravens with a greater opportunity of getting to the Super Bowl. It's not because Lamar Jackson is not great. It's just because his responsibility offensively is so great that he can't afford to have a down play. Let me give you a perfect example. Let me give you the Buffalo Bills. Over the last 2 seasons, when the Bills have not had success with either getting to the AFC Championship and they have not advanced to a Super Bowl, it's because Josh Allen was not the point guard necessarily. He had to be the point guard, the shooting guard, the power forward, all of that, if we could use it in like a basketball context of distributing responsibility. The reason why people leaned into him being the MVP is because they said that he was doing more with less. The truth is, he was able to take a step back and allow the other guys to make the plays that he needed to make. Therefore, right, he makes less mistakes, or when he does make a mistake, they're less impactful. One of the narratives around Josh Allen this season was what? He was not turning the ball over. Well, the reason why you turn the ball over so much is because you feel like you're the only one that can make a play. When he stepped back and just began to distribute, yeah, his stats went down, but their success went up. And I think it's going to take a little bit of that for Lamar Jackson. And I think that if the Baltimore Ravens can really recognize this, I think that our chances of getting to a Super Bowl are going to be increased. Let me close out with this. Go back to the AFC Championship, right? The Ravens didn't lose by much, but what was the narrative coming out of that game? It was 2 of them. One was, why didn't the Baltimore Ravens run the ball more? Why did they abandon the run game? The other narrative that was just as loud as why didn't the Ravens run the ball more was, why didn't Lamar Jackson use his legs? Now, in truth, Lamar Jackson has a unique ability to throw it and run it. But my question is, why is the game dependent upon Lamar Jackson using his legs? Or why is the game so much dependent upon Lamar Jackson using his legs? That's why you pay running backs. That's why you have a play caller, right? And so when Lamar Jackson isn't excellent, when Lamar Jackson has a slip up here or there, it turns the entire offense sideways. Even coming to the 2024 season, all the way through to the playoff game, when the Baltimore Ravens lost, it was consistently a narrative about self-inflicted wounds, but also it was what else could Lamar Jackson have done? Come all the way to the playoff game. Lamar Jackson had 2 hiccups. The first quarter, I think it was interception, and then it was the fumble. Okay? But watch this. What if Tyler Linderbaum was required to be excellent, so he delivers the snap the way it should be? You don't have that scramble in the backfield for Lamar Jackson to pick the ball up and make a play. Think about it. So now in that first half, all you had was the interception. But let's go to the second quarter where Lamar Jackson delivers to Rashad Bateman. They put the ball on the 2-yard line. They get stopped on first down with a Derrick Henry run. The second play, they call a play where Ronnie Stanley is supposed to sneak out into the flat. That puts the onus on Lamar Jackson to deliver the ball to, and it has to be perfect if you're delivering it to Ronnie Stanley. Why would that be the onus when you have personnel, a big fullback, a big running back, right? You don't even create the play call to be successful. You don't throw to your left tackle when you need a score in the playoffs, that's not what you do. But because the play's not delivered, who was it on? It was on Lamar Jackson. Even when you come to the fourth quarter, Lamar Jackson delivers the ball. Mark Andrews doesn't complete the play. Why didn't Mark Andrews do his part? When you come all the way down to the last play of the game, basically for the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson delivers the ball to Mark Andrews wide open, and he drops it. Why didn't Mark Andrews make the play? You see, it's always on Lamar Jackson to be excellent and perfect. And anytime that he's not, the things that he messes up on or slips up on is exponentially louder when it comes to scrutiny. But if everybody else were doing their job, even with the mistakes Lamar Jackson makes, the Baltimore Ravens are in a better position to win. You see, when you have that kind of gravity offensively to where you control 65 plus, let's just go ahead and call it a plus, 65+% of the offense, you can't afford to have any letdowns by your quarterback, or you'll end up just like the Baltimore Ravens have been, losing. And so I think this is the offseason that we make sure we put people in place who can get us over the top so that Lamar Jackson does not have to carry most of the burden offensively. I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM, and I'm out.